Robert De Niro reveals his thoughts on the Joker controversy. That is the headline on today's MBE Movie News.
Controversy or controversy, John? I do not know the right word for that. But anyway, exactly, schedule. But listen, this comes in from Cinema Blend and Tomato. And anyway, enough of the hilarity. Let's get on with the show. We watched a video clip of this because I couldn't make head nor tail of the actual quote from Robert De Niro, Bob De Niro, old Bob. And I watched the video, John, which was about a minute and a bit long, and I didn't really get what he was talking about, other than he was asked a question about how he felt about the Joker controversy.
Yes, Stephen, what I made from it, or took from it, because I had to look into it, I'm not hugely aware of what the NRA are, but having did a little research and dug in there, apparently it's the National Rifle Association, so this is an organisation which I believe stands up for the rights of gun holders in the United States. So I think that basically he was talking about that and how obviously the Aurora victims' families, obviously that horrific incident which happened, I think back in 2012, where I believe some chap walked into a theatre, a midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises, dressed as a Joker, I believe, and obviously he massacred, I think it was 12 to 24 people. So their families came out, they were heavily criticising Warner Brothers for just on the back of, I think it was the Venice, I think perhaps, I can't remember which, it may have even been Cannes, the film festival, where some of the audience or the critics came out and said that it's painting this character too sympathetically, it's perhaps causing some stirs, and we may see violence erupt from some people taking this the wrong way and being, I don't know, copycatting what they're seeing in the movie. It was ridiculous anyway, but that's where they've taken that from the critics, and they've then lambasted Warner Brothers for what they perceive to be a slap in the face to their relatives who were killed by that horrific incident, painting the Joker sympathetically. And obviously Robert De Niro's then come out, he's been asked about this, he's expanded upon it. He says that he felt it was a great pleasure to work with Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix. He can see the clear connections with Taxi Driver and I think The King of Comedy. Yes. But at the same time, he can also understand what I was going on about there. If people understand what I was going on about there.
I think it's a difficult position for an actor to be put in when he's asked that question, John. In a way, Robert De Niro's kind of trying to distance himself, saying he was only a small part of this.
That's exactly what I took from it.
He did say this, but I think, to be honest with you, he can see where the families are coming from. But I think they're going about it the wrong way, John. Now, it's not for us to say over here in the UK, we don't have such associations.
It killed 12 people, incidentally. It wasn't two, it was 12 people. So
we don't have these associations over here because our gun laws are totally different from the US. So we don't want to get preachy here because it's not something that happens in this country, John. But coming from Robert De Niro's perspective, I can understand why he was a bit evasive. When I read the quote, I kind of felt he was dancing around the question. And then when I watched the actual video clip, I got the same impression, John. But I think, this is just me personally, I think that I sympathise with the families and what they've had to get through. Because I do remember that. And I remember Christian Bale was asked on one of the red carpets his thoughts on it. And again, very difficult for an actor to put into words these kind of things that are happening, particularly in the United States. This is not a film problem, John. No. It's not a film problem. It's not an entertainment problem. We're talking about fiction here. This is a mental problem, and I mean that in the sort of state of mind. This is a problem that goes deeper than films, television, entertainment in general. I don't know too much about where this association stands on these sort of things. We don't really hear them speaking out against these things either, John. I might be wrong. I don't actually go out my road to look for quotes from this association, but I think...
I think they're quite nefarious. They're all out and absolutely pro-guns and people's right to carry guns. But Stephen, I've spoken about this previously, not even on this show, just in general. There's just a long-lasting sort of a legacy of, I can't recall which amendment or whatever the hell it is, legislation they have in place over there, where people have the right to bear arms. It's something that's deep-rooted in that society, and it's going to be impossible to just take those guns away. It's just impossible. It's too set in its ways, that society, and people's ability to go and grab guns, and people's ability
I
to
don't
wield
want to
guns, the
sound-
amount of guns that are out there.
I don't want to sound insensitive either, John, because it's difficult for these families to what they've experienced, and it's something obviously I hope I never have to. But I think the person that committed that crime back in 2012, the whole fact he was dressed as the Joker was just set dressing.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have mattered to him. I think his actions that he carried out were getting carried out regardless of that film's release anyway.
The Second Amendment, incidentally, that's the right to bear arms. It's too deep set, Stephen. But you're absolutely right, Stephen. That was just a way to go in and massacre people. You would have found some other way to do it. I don't think it was inspired by the actual Joker performance from Heath Ledger or films in general. He's just a very sick man, as you did allude to, with serious issues up there mentally.
Yeah.
And it's also, that's something I think we've seen being a thread of connection throughout all of these horrific shootings and massacres and whatnot. These people are not right in the head, they're chemically imbalanced, and it's got nothing to do with entertainment. And I think, whilst I can understand the family's perspective, they want to champion their dead relatives and protect people and try and get an end to these massacres, which I don't think will ever happen, sadly. The other side of the coin, I can understand the studio, who, I mean, I read the article and I was absolutely perplexed, Stephen. It says something about they were lobbying against the studio to stop backing candidates who are pro-gun lobbies, are pro-guns, and I can't recall. I need to get the actual quote. It was absolutely baffling to me. I can't find it, but it doesn't even matter. Essentially, they're trying to lobby that Warner Brothers should stop funding candidates who are pro-gun lobbies in NRA, and I was confused because why would Warner Brothers fund these candidates in the first place? Warner Brothers released a statement saying that they have always been very sincere about the effects of obviously these massacres and whatnot, and they've done their best to help victims of these
Let's
things
be honest
by
as well, John.
donations and whatnot.
Studios are not going to start going down the road of pigeonholing themselves into not doing specific genres either.
Yeah, they can't be held accountable for some lunatic getting out and shooting people, Stephen. At some point you have to take responsibility in your own actions, and it's got nothing to do with The Dark Knight, and in this case it has nothing to do with Joker. If people are going to go out and murder people, they're going to go out and do it regardless of whether they've seen the Joker or not seen the Joker. This has been going on for years upon years upon years. They've tried to blame computer games, video games, they've tried to game entertainment.
It's a social thing, John. It's a social problem. It certainly is. But
I tell you what, Stephen, the final thing I'll say, Robert De Niro has been eviscerating Trump, and he's at least consistent. He absolutely hates the NRA, and he says that Trump's afraid to defy the NRA, so this is just something that he does anyway, and God bless him for that, because he's a great man.
More from Bob, I'm sure. But listen, we'll move on to our next article, John. Yes. Halloween Kills is bringing back yet another actor from the original. Now, we talked about Tommy Doyle a few weeks ago, probably a few months ago, actually. We know that obviously...
I think it was about a month ago.
Yeah. Well, we know that Anthony Michael Hall is going to be playing the adult version of Tommy Doyle. And we've got Lonnie Ellum will be played by Robert Longstreet as well. But this time it's actually an actress who has played this character, Nurse Marion Chambers, in the original film and for some of the sequels as well, which is kind of confusing because we know that they don't exist anymore. They don't exist.
She didn't take anything to do with those horrendous 90s sequels though, Stephen. Just the second Halloween 2
H2O,
and then H2O, which was crap, but not as crap as the other ones.
It was okay. For its time, it was okay, John. It was... we got Jamie Lee Curtis back for the film. That was the most important thing. And
bizarrely, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Joseph Levitt.
Yeah,
I get his name right.
One, Robin. I think, I forgot all about him.
I didn't know he was in it until we actually...
He's one of these actors, John, because he started at such a young age, you're probably not even aware of how many films you've actually seen him in, you know. But this is the news that's coming through that it looks like the actress is going to reprise her role as the nurse. I think it was her car that...
It set up the events of Halloween, yes.
Michael, I almost forgot his name, Michael Myers.
The shape.
Yeah, the shape, stole her car to return to Haddonfield, John. So what's your take on this? It just seems to me like they're sort of tying everything back to that original film, that original event as well, and try to bring back as many of the original, not just characters, but actors as well.
Stephen, it's something we're seeing more and more in films these days, reuniting sort of cast members. We were talking about Ghostbusters, I was about to say Ghostbusters,
and the Goonies.
And the Goonies, yes, we were talking about that potentially coming back. I don't think that'll ever happen. Ghostbusters 2020 is definitely happening. And now we're seeing it with this, they're bringing back all of the original cast. And we did obviously speak about Jamie Lee Curtis and how she has spoken with the director, and he's looking at it being a character study of all the emotional states of the original people involved in the original massacre in the 1978 movie, how it impacted their lives over a 30-40 year time span. I don't know how long it actually is, I think it is 40 years. 78, my maths is terrible, I think that's about 40 odd years.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting,
years,
Stephen, and it's cool to see, as you did allude to, we spoke about the Tommy Doyle, was it, character?
Yeah, Paul Rudd played him.
Paul Rudd played him. It's a different actor playing the character from the original actual movie, so it's good to see that thread of connection where we're actually getting the original actress or actor back to play the character. You get that thread of connection from the original, like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I don't know if the original chap that played Michael Myers is coming back for this one once again, or whether it was a sort of a Peter Mayhew effort where he came in, done some of these standing perhaps sequences, had a body double of a similar height and build, and then he passed the baton over to him, like we'd seen with, I think, Jason Sutomo, I think his name is.
That's right, yeah.
Ioannis Sutomo. Obviously passed the baton being passed over to him from Peter Mayhew. So I don't know, it's just very cool, Stephen, once again to see all of this cast coming together. I'm really looking forward to the movie. I didn't think I would. I thought the Halloween we got last year, I believe it was the year before
2017, yeah.
I thought that wrapped up the story very well. I thought it would have been better just being a sort of a duology, if you'd like, and then step away from it, because he obviously meets his end in the basement. If you've not seen it, spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen it, it's 3 years ago, so what the hell was wrong with you? Or did he, Stephen? You're absolutely right. We know now that you didn't, because they have set up 2 subsequent movies. It's a trilogy, plus the original. And look, I'm excited for it, which is surprising.
Yeah, I think as well, John, I think what our sort of our idea of what this film's going to bring is going to be more psychological than a slasher film.
Yeah.
This is going to be sort of the fallout from the film from 2 years ago, but obviously the fallout from way back in the 1970s as well. I think that's why these characters are coming back. I think it's going to be very much like It, Chapter 2, where we're going to see. Do you think
it'll be a sort of a reunion, Stephen, let them all come together, like a strange sort of a alcoholic anonymous setup where they all come together and speak about their lives and how it impacted on them?
It could be, you know,
and the stories fleshed out from there.
It could be that, you know, they've all shared this same experience. It depends how it's been written, I suppose. That's where the key is.
Yeah.
But one possibility could be that, you know, it could be an asylum they're in, you know, they just didn't get over these events, you know. I certainly wouldn't.
No.
You know, and it could be, you know, a bit one flew for the cuckoo's nest, who knows?
I'd have a Rottweiler at each door, Stephen, in my house, and the lights on perpetually, because I would never get over a 6'5", 6'6" guy wearing William Shatner's mask, face
inside
mask,
out, yeah,
inside out, stabbing hell out of people around me. That would have terrorised me and haunted me forevermore. But Stephen, look, you're right. I think it's going to be more emotional and more character study and just more psychological in the way it plays out. I genuinely don't think Michael Myers will be in Halloween Kills. I think he'll be in it visually in form of hallucinations and whatnot, and just psychological trauma. We'll see him in the shadows and whatnot.
Mirrors and stuff like that.
But he's not really there.
Mirrors.
And the fact Nurse Marion Chambers, this character who we're speaking about primarily in this article, is coming back. She had that thread of connection in terms of actually allowing this to happen. He stole her car, made away, and then killed everyone horrifically. Yeah. She, more than anything, will have the trauma and the guilt on her conscience. Was it yourself,
John, that had the suggestion that they may go down the road of sort of Freddy Krueger? I think it was it
was a comment
where, you know, he's in your dreams.
Yeah, I think someone commented on the previous video, Stephen, we were discussing. I think I alluded more to an It Chapter 2 setup, or even It Chapter 1, where they all get together, share their experiences, how it shaped them, informed them, and where they are in their older state, 40 years on from the original events. And then in the final movie, Halloween Ends, it transpires that Michael Myers has survived, and then they all get together and face him as a whole and take him down once and for all. They started as a whole in the original movie. Jamie Lee Curtis goes on, Laurie Strode goes on her solo venture, taking him on, deals with that trauma in her way. She thinks she's ended him. They all get together as a collective, and then they end up killing him at the end. That's what I envisioned. But there's someone commented about the Freddy Krueger thing.
Thought it was yourself.
That would be very cool if it is like a sort of a dreamscape thing where or maybe even just meditation going back.
Oh, we're into October now, John. We've not got long to wait.
Not long to go at all.
Listen, we'll move on to our next topic, John. It's
Yes.
why we won't see as many gadgets in The Kingsman, according to Matthew Vaughn. Now, I am not going to read this quote because Cinema Blend have got a habit of actually quoting every word for word that the person says, and it took me about 3 attempts to actually understand.
There's a lot of hmms.
But basically, he's saying that it's set World War One, isn't it? So,
yes.
Which
1910s.
Yeah,
just prior to World War One.
Yeah, the Great War. And I think, in a way, it makes sense that they're not going to have these fancy gadgets. But I would have liked, it was you actually suggested it, John, that it would have been a good thing, a bit like Men in Black.
Yeah.
Where they've got all these gadgets that are way advanced for the time that they're using them. I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen maybe some 1960s gadgetry in there that's not being released for
Ray guns.
the next. Yeah, that would have been fantastic.
Well, they say that in the article, Stephen, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
Yes.
did it. So it's something there's previous for this, where you go back to periods where there's no sort of a technology like that widely available or readily available. But so obviously these secretive organisations have access to this advanced technology. They're holding it back from the wider public, and then they also utilise that in the film. So it's certainly there's previous for it, but for whatever reason, Matthew Vaughn has chosen not to do it in this one. And look, I can get on board when you read the actual quote and see what he's saying. He's well aware of the fact that obviously audience members who watched the previous 2 movies have that connection with the gadgetry. That's one of the things that brings them in, and they get enjoyment out of it as a consequence. But in this one, he's focusing more on the origins of this organisation, how it's sprouted up to be.
It does kind of hint to me, John, that there might be a shift in tone in the humour as well then. Yeah. We did watch the trailer, obviously, and I did get the vibes from the previous films, but that's been a prequel as well. You're right, John, it's going to be setting up the origins, and it will be more stuffy because of the time period, it's just before the breakout of the Great War, and it's a different cast as well, different time, and it's one of the things I always looked forward to in a Bond film was the gadgets. Sadly, we're not going to get that, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a bad film. Certainly not. It's going to be more probably character based. It's not going to rely on cheap tricks. So I'm looking forward to it. I think they did the right thing, John. I think after the Golden Circle, I can't remember what it's called.
Golden Circle,
yeah.
I've still not seen it.
It was a disappointing follow-up, John, to a really good
first one was incredible.
Film. Yeah. So it's good that Matthew Vaughn has seen this. He's seen the reaction to that sequel. Didn't do too well. Let's get back to basics, and they certainly are going back to basics.
Stephen, you're absolutely right in what you say, that he's perhaps focusing it more on a more character study there, a more character actor. That's terrible. Character study based movie, instead of utilising the humour and the gadgetry and whatnot. It'll focus, as I did say previously, on the establishing of the Kingsmen organisation, on the characters around the periphery of what was going on at that time when it was established. You look at the actors in there, and it's definitely the right decision. Ralph Fiennes, Duke of Oxford. I mean, that's just that name. I read that and it was like, yes, that works.
Yes.
His protege, Harris Dickinson's Conrad, again, it works. It's just the period, it just marries beautifully. And who can forget, we've actually got, what's his face? Charles Dance is in there, I'm pretty damn sure he is.
Yeah.
But if not got his name, there you go, Field Marshal Haig. So again, it works. The guy is such a good actor, Stephen. He just seems to slide into that period perfectly. Yeah. He seems like he's been born in that period, but he's not. He's old, but he's not that old. And there's just a whole host of other great actors in there. Rhys Ifans is playing Grigory Rasputin. Is that the Rasputin? Yeah. The Rasputin that the Bonnie M was singing about. Who knows, Stephen? Look, I'm on board for it. I'll give it a chance. I love the period. I like the trailer. And he does allude, finally, in the quote, which was quite funny actually, that the technology back then, a gadget was having an umbrella that worked. It was having a car and having an airplane. So what more do you want in life? A floating car?
Maybe a pen that stabs people, I don't know.
Yeah.
But listen, we'll move on.
Have that.
Yeah, we'll move on, John, to our final article of the show. It sounds like Jurassic Park's kids want to return for Jurassic World 3-2. This is, of course, Joseph Mazzello and Ariana Richards. What's your take on this, John? It does make sense, doesn't it?
It does make sense, Stephen, when you actually read down the article. I wasn't aware of this. Jeff Goldblum's coming back once again as Dr. Ian Malcolm. I think it was very, very brief. We had him speaking in a court setup about the existentialism questions, pondering it. If we let the dinosaurs roam, then we will end us. Some heavily paraphrasing here, but it was
we'll
restricted to that. Yeah, we'll become extinct.
Yeah,
Heavily restricted to some lines in a quote sequence. He's coming back. Hopefully, he'll have a more hands-on role. Obviously, Sam Neill's coming back as Dr. Alan Grant, and Laura Dern is returning as well. So we have the original trio from that original set of Jurassic Park movies that made those movies what they were essentially. Some of them were shite, admittedly. First one was very, very good. I think the second one was decent. Third one, an abomination. But when you go through that, Stephen, you see these guys are coming back and these ladies are coming back, because it's not just guys. You can understand why the two children actors or child actors at the time, now much older. I think Ariana Richards is now 40. And Joe Mazzello, we were speaking about it, he played one of the Queen band members in the Bohemian Rhapsody. You'll know the name.
John Deacon,
John Deacon.
Yeah. I was about to say Brian Deacon there. John Deacon.
We've always had issues with that Deacon name, Stephen. I think we've said it wrong numerous times. But you can understand why they want to come back. They're feeling left out in the cold. Much like Mark Hamill was in Norway or wherever it was in Empire Strikes Back. They're all sitting in having a good old time, chugging the beers and the whiskies. And they're sitting out in the cold thinking, what is going on here? We were as much a part of these movies as those old stuffy gets. They're back and we're not. I think they should bring them back, even if it's just for a short cameo. But look, I'm not the studio. I think it's Warner Brothers. I may be completely wrong. Maybe Universal, actually. I think it is.
I think, John,
I'll find out.
If this is going to be the last film in the franchise, I don't know if they're going to continue on after this or not. I think it would be a nice way to round things off by bringing the original cast members back, and tying it all in. And you've got it's 6 films, isn't it? It's two trilogies, isn't it?
Colin Trevorrow said, Stephen, he would come. Well, he did the first movie in the trilogy. Then I think they handed it over to some other chap whose name eludes me, Spanish sounding name, I recall. Did okay. It was an okay movie. It wasn't as good as the first for me, but it was still decent. And then Colin's coming back after they get the heave-ho from obviously Star Wars Episode 9. Wouldn't have been Rise of Skywalker when he was in control, but it is now. And now he's back doing this. He's finishing it up. So it is a trilogy.
It would have been Luke Skywalker kicks everyone's butts. But
yes.
Listen, that just brings us to the end of this Wednesday's edition of Movie News. We'd just like to thank you for joining us, and we'll be back again tomorrow with Thursday's edition of Movie News and the blog rundown.